Many men assume that tending to their personal needs later in life is not only harmless, but even beneficial. But what if I told you the method you're using might be slowly interfering with the very blood flow your body relies on to keep your manhood alive? By the time you feel something is wrong, the damage might already be done. I'm Dr. Andrew. I've spent over 3 decades helping men in their later years preserve their energy, their circulation, and the intimate bonds that make life rich and meaningful. The issue isn't the act itself, it's how it's being done, and the 4 quiet, often unnoticed habits that can gradually impair blood flow, weaken performance, and steal away the closeness and vitality every man deserves. Today, I'll walk you through these 4 harmful habits. More importantly, I'll show you how to avoid them so you can protect your circulation, feel more youthful, and keep your relationships thriving, regardless of age. One of these mistakes is so common it almost never gets mentioned, but it could be silently cutting off blood flow and leaving lasting damage in its wake. Stick with me, because this may be more important than you realize. Before we go on, if you haven't already, take a second to subscribe and tap the bell so you don't miss any vital information that could help you maintain intimacy and energy after 60. If you're finding this helpful already, drop a 1 in the comments. If you want to hear about other topics, type 0. Your input helps shape what I create for you. Let's start with the first mistake: using too much strength and pressure. This is something I've seen countless times. Older men unintentionally harming themselves by applying excessive pressure. It's not hard to understand why. As we get older, blood flow slows down, and sensitivity fades. Frustration kicks in. To compensate, many men grip tighter or become more forceful, just to feel something again. But that extra intensity, that slight change in touch, can quietly start a chain reaction of damage. Your manhood relies on a network of delicate blood vessels, thin and complex pathways that carry the blood responsible for arousal, sensitivity, and health. When those vessels are squeezed too hard or too often, they don't just bruise, they break down, they swell, they lose their function. And this doesn't happen all at once. The damage builds slowly. Tiny tears form, swelling begins, circulation drops. You might notice a small drop in sensation at first, or maybe softer erections. But over time, those small signs can grow into much bigger problems. Each rough movement is like shutting off one more pathway your body depends on to function properly. It's like chopping at a tree's roots a little more each day. Eventually, the roots give out. And when those blood vessels close off, getting them to open again, even with treatment, becomes incredibly difficult. Especially after 60, your body just doesn't bounce back the way it used to. Once those vessels are damaged, they often stiffen, scar, and stay closed. And that means the very thing meant to bring comfort and connection could be silently taking both away. That's why a softer, more mindful approach is so important. Gentle touch isn't just safer, it's essential. It protects your health, it preserves your confidence, and it helps you keep the ability to share intimacy long into your golden years. And if you think that's the only hidden risk, you're in for more surprises. The next mistake happens even before you begin, and it can quietly sabotage your circulation before you even know what's happening. If you're still with me and this is resonating, let me know in the comments with a 1. It helps me know you're engaged and getting value from this. Let's move on to the second point: skipping the warm-up for your blood flow. One major mistake many older men make, and don't even think twice about, is ignoring the need to get their circulation going before any intimate activity, even solo time. At first, this may sound unnecessary. Isn't it supposed to be a natural thing? Something spontaneous? That might have been true at 25, but your body at 60 or 70 plays by different rules. The vessels are more fragile now, the skin less flexible, and the whole system is slower to kick into gear. Jumping right into stimulation without getting the blood flowing is like trying to start a frozen car and immediately hitting the gas. You're asking your body to perform under stress, and something eventually gives out. When you begin without easing your way in, the sudden demand for blood can put enormous strain on already aging vessels. Instead of a smooth, gradual increase in circulation, you get unpredictable spikes. And those fragile little vessels inside your manhood, the ones responsible for staying firm, can't handle the sudden pressure. They start to stretch, swell, and even rupture in tiny ways that you might not notice immediately, but that take a toll over time. As time passes, this quiet strain slowly eats away at the core of male well-being. Circulation declines, sensitivity fades, erections lose their strength, and all the while, many men carry the weight of blame, or assume this is just what aging feels like, never realizing that a simple change in approach could have preserved so much more. This habit is more dangerous than most people realize. Skipping a warm-up isn't just a missed step. It's a direct blow to the body's ability to function and renew itself. Without healthy blood flow, the tissues lose vitality. They become less responsive, less resilient, and over time, start to break down. That natural harmony between body, mind, and heart begins to unravel. What should be a nourishing, affirming experience becomes tinged with frustration, confusion, and quiet disappointment. But here's the good news. Taking just a few moments beforehand, deep breathing, gentle movement, even light self-massage around the abdomen can completely change the outcome. It sets the stage. It wakes up the vessels, readies the tissue, and guards against the kind of slow internal damage that adds up day after day, year after year. The truth is, in this season of life, the smallest habits can make the biggest difference. You're either building a future of strength, intimacy, and energy, or unknowingly fast-tracking the very decline you're trying to avoid. And speaking of hidden habits, the next mistake might be even more dangerous. It's not just about how often you engage, it's about what happens afterward. And sadly, most men are getting this part wrong without knowing it. Let's talk about mistake number 3. Too much frequency, not enough recovery. One of the most common and most overlooked risks for men after 60 is pushing the body too often, without giving it time to recharge. I have seen it again and again. We were raised to believe that the more active you are, the better. That regular release kept everything in good working order, or even proved your strength. But as we get older, those rules change. If we keep forcing the same routines we followed decades ago, we risk doing more harm than good. Every time you're intimate, solo or with a partner, your circulatory system kicks into high gear. Blood flow surges, nitric oxide activates, and your heart and vessels all work together in a beautiful, intricate rhythm. In youth, recovery is quick, but with age, that process slows. The bounce-back time gets longer. If you keep engaging frequently, without allowing your body to recover, you're not building stamina. You're gradually draining it. Inside, the effects are more serious than most men realize. Without rest, the blood vessels become inflamed. The lining of your arteries, the endothelium, begins to struggle. Instead of expanding easily, they tighten. Over time, this leads to sluggish blood flow, diminished erections, and even larger health concerns like hypertension and heart disease. And the hardest part? The decline is so slow, so quiet, that you may not even notice until you suddenly feel like something is missing. That sense of ease, but it doesn't stop of joy with the body gone. Emotionally, the struggle takes its toll. Confidence begins to erode. Frustration creeps in. And where intimacy should bring connection, it builds distance instead. This isn't just about physical pleasure. It's about holding on to the most meaningful parts of life. The closeness, the understanding, the bond with someone you care about. Real strength after 60 doesn't come from doing more. It comes from listening to your body's rhythm, giving it the space it needs, and choosing meaningful, mindful experiences over constant repetition. Each time you rest, you're investing in your long-term vitality, your circulation, and your ability to love with depth and energy for years to come. And if managing frequency is important, what I'm about to share next might be even more crucial. Because this next mistake doesn't start in the body. It begins in the mind. Mistake number 4. Emotionally checking out during intimacy. This is one of the most painful and, sadly, most common patterns I see. Men losing touch with their own bodies during these moments. Especially after 60, when routine takes over and emotional fatigue slowly builds, it's easy to fall into autopilot, to just go through the motions, to chase a quick moment of release without really feeling much at all. At first, it might seem harmless, but over time, this quiet disconnect doesn't just dull your emotional connection. It chips away at your physical health, too. When your mind isn't engaged, the communication between brain, nerves, and blood vessels weakens. Those pathways that should be lighting up during pleasure, they fade. And when those signals aren't strong, your circulation suffers. Your body doesn't respond with the same strength, the same precision. Blood doesn't flow the way it should. This isn't just mental, it's biological. Bit by bit, the bond between sensation and performance weakens. And what's worse, you may not even realize it's happening. But over time, it leads to a kind of numbness, both physical and emotional. Your body, especially at this age, is not just a machine. It needs presence. It needs intention. It thrives on being treated with care and attention. When you rush through intimate moments without truly being present, you miss out on the very elements that keep your blood flowing, your tissues alive, and your emotional connection strong. The harm goes deeper than your body. It touches your sense of self, your confidence, and your ability to bond deeply with someone you care about. I've witnessed too many men silently struggle, chalking it up to aging or bad luck, when the truth is, their bodies were simply reacting to years of being overlooked. Presence isn't just a nice idea. It's essential. Awareness and care are what fuel healthy circulation and help preserve your strength, sensitivity, and emotional connection. At this point in life, being fully engaged in the moment isn't just about enhancing pleasure. It's about safeguarding your future, keeping your vessels flexible, keeping your heart involved, keeping your soul alert, staying truly alive in every way that matters. Now that you've learned about these 4 silent threats, the real question becomes, what can you do starting today to rebuild and protect your health, your connection, and your vitality for the years ahead? Stick with me, because what I'm about to share could be the turning point you've been waiting for. Let's go a step deeper. There's something even more serious, something most men won't notice until much later, sometimes when it's already too late. The habits we've just talked about may seem small on their own. A bit of pressure here, a quick moment there, skipping preparation now and then. But these aren't isolated mistakes. They stack up, day by day, year by year, like cracks forming beneath the surface of a strong-looking building. And eventually, they cause a collapse that's not visible until the damage is already done. When your blood vessels are repeatedly strained, ignored, or mistreated, they begin to stiffen. They narrow. Circulation slows. The tissues that once responded eagerly to the softest touch start to feel muted, disconnected. Erections that used to arrive easily now take more effort, more time, and for some, they stop coming at all. But again, this isn't just about the physical. This is about losing something far more personal. The quiet erosion of connection, of confidence, of emotional closeness. The things that give life richness and meaning. And what makes it so dangerous is how silently it unfolds. There's no sharp pain, no loud warning, just a slow, invisible shift that feels like getting older. You start making excuses. You downplay your concern. You try to ignore the sadness that creeps in when things don't feel the way they used to. But somewhere deep inside, you sense that something important is slipping away, and it hurts. The truth is, many of these changes are not set in stone. They don't have to happen. Much of this decline comes from years of small, repeated damage that could have been slowed, even reversed, if caught early enough. Every time you brush off an opportunity to take care of your body, it's like pulling one more thread from the fabric of your health, and eventually, enough threads come loose, and the whole picture starts to fall apart. I'm not telling you this to scare you. I'm telling you because you deserve to know the truth. You still have the power to turn things around. No matter your age, you are not stuck. You are not too far gone. The body, even in your 60s and beyond, is capable of healing, if you give it the respect, the patience, and the attention it needs. But you have to act. The longer these hidden habits go unaddressed, the more the damage speeds up, and the fewer chances you have to reclaim what's been lost. The decision is in your hands. Continue down the quiet road of decline, or choose a new direction, one where your blood flows freely, your intimacy is rich and rewarding, and your strength still has room to grow. And now that you truly understand what's at stake, the next step becomes clear. It's time to learn the real, science-backed strategies that can help you rebuild what's been damaged, protect what remains, and strengthen your health and connections for the journey ahead. Let's talk about reclaiming your strength and closeness after 60. Bye. Now, you know that the common mistakes men make in their later years aren't just minor missteps. They are subtle, silent forces that gradually strip away the very things that matter most: your circulation, your energy, and your emotional depth. These aren't loud, obvious problems. They slide quietly into your daily routine. They wear away at your blood vessels, weaken your foundations, and chip at the emotional bonds that make life worth living. And because it happens slowly, it's easy to miss. Until one day, you realize how far things have slipped. That's exactly why it's so dangerous. Because it doesn't feel urgent until it's too late, like a slow leak in your foundation that finally gives way. But the good news is this: the moment you become aware, the moment you decide to act, that's the moment change begins. And I'm here to help guide you through it. But perhaps the most harmful belief of all is thinking nothing can be done, that this decline is just part of getting older, that it's unavoidable. I'm here to tell you that's simply not true. Your body hasn't given up on you. It's waiting for you to notice it, to show it care, to treat it like something worth nurturing as you move into this next chapter of life. You still hold the power to protect, to strengthen, and to rekindle the intimacy and vitality you truly deserve. Even the smallest decisions you make starting today can lead to real change. Choosing to treat yourself with gentleness instead of pressure. Choosing to get your circulation going before any intimate moment. Choosing rest and recovery instead of pushing yourself past the edge. Choosing to be fully present, to actually feel alive in your own skin. These aren't just little tweaks. They're acts of respect, signs that you value your body, your health, and your connection to life itself. You're not alone in this. Countless men are facing the same challenges, but very few decide to take action. The ones who do, the ones who refuse to accept a slow, quiet decline, become something rare. They become men who live with energy, with closeness, and with dignity, even as the years go by. Remember, intimacy after 60 isn't only about what happens physically. It's about keeping the current of life moving through your body, your emotions, and your spirit. It's about staying open to love, staying proud of who you are, and fiercely protecting your well-being no matter what the calendar says. It's about choosing not to fade away when you still have so much more life left to give and receive. Right now, You stand at a decision point. You can quietly continue down the same path, or you can take charge. You can choose habits that heal, that strengthen, that protect. You can keep your blood flowing freely, your confidence steady, and your heart open to deeper connection. This isn't something to put off until later. Your journey back to strength and intimacy begins now, in this moment. And every step you take, every mindful choice you make, becomes a building block for the future you want. A future where you feel strong again, connected again, proud of the man you still are, and the man you're becoming. Your best years? They're not behind you. They're still ahead of you, if you're ready to claim them.